we look at operational challenges. Then we take a quick look of the fears which are existing within IT, the IT goals and initiatives, and then we start looking into the alternative business models for IT, which is, at one end, I want to describe to you quickly how we at Forrester look at the SaaS maturity model, what are some of the differences, and then a decision model with a summary and conclusion. And then we actually also have a client with us who will help us answer some of the questions. So let's get started. This next slide here, Emily, if you go to this slide, a year ago, when we think back into our economy, things looked extremely black. We had serious challenges across the world in all the different economies with regards to how things were looking, be it from an IT budget perspective, be it from how customers were buying and what they were buying. Of course, in different regions of the world, things became very, very challenging. Since then, if we believe the economists around the world, we are recovering and we seem to be doing a little bit better. However, still sluggish growth in many of the areas of the world. The next slide shows us a poll, actually a couple of polls we have done just recently with Forrester and Forrester clients and other clients. And you can see the base was about 2,800 folks around IT budget decision makers. On the left-hand side, we asked, what are your firm's 3 most important corporate business priorities over the next 12 months? And you can see here, interestingly, the 2 top goals were grow overall company revenue, at the same time lower the firm's overall operating costs. Now, to some extent, sometimes I challenge my clients as they both want to grow and lower, but they do need to do something different. Third, they also want to acquire and retain customers. So customer loyalty has become very important. And of course, that is one many of the organizations I work with is a very high priority. If we look on the right-hand side and we check on when we asked which of the following initiatives are your IT organization's top IT management priorities over the next 12 months, we can see there are quite a few high priorities here. Very difficult to see what IT is not going to do. But the first one, improve the efficiency of IT, is one which I talk to my clients pretty much during the entire week. Here we see, of course, adoptions of best practices like ITIL. We see introduction of automation. We see shifts in staff. We see a variety of topics such as self-servicing, better first call resolutions, particularly in the ITSM space. That's very important. If we also then look at the next one, improve or streamline the business process, and the third one, increase IT capacity or resources to drive business innovations, we're seeing that there's a shift, and we call this the shift in the moose. And what we mean by moose inside Forrester is moose stands for the maintaining of the ongoing system environment, which means it's the work we do to keep our business going. Typically in IT, about 80% of the budget, typical in a company, about 80% of the budget goes to the moose, and only 20% is invested in innovation, which is not a very good picture because 20% does not allow us to actually grow overall company revenue and does not necessarily allow us either to become more efficient in IT. So we have to reduce the moose, meaning this ongoing system environment of operational expenses and capital expenses is what many clients are starting to look at this point in time. And we'll get back to that when we talk through SaaS. And this is one of the major reasons why new business models like SaaS have been adopted recently with many, many customers. Now, the next slide, titled IT Operation Groups Face Challenges, is probably something you all are very familiar with, but let me talk you through this quickly. On the top right-hand side, there's a lot of demands from the business. As we saw, business wants to retain customers and grow revenue. At the same time, for us in IT, there is a variety of new technologies, be it virtualizations, be it clouds, be it infrastructure clouds, or be it other mobile devices, or whatever from a technology perspective is thrown into the formula. At the same time, we also have additional consumptions of services. That means we from IT and in the business of IT need to have a much better service delivery engine. All of that is relatively important if we think about the customer satisfaction is very much tied to how quickly do we introduce our services, how well are they consumed, how can we adopt technology, and then how do we justify new technologies and balances with regards to technology and demands so that our customers are satisfied. So you can see very interesting dynamic here IT operations group have to face today. Because of this, in this next slide, in the normal IT trade-offs, we have seen a tremendous skew to a short-term priority from previously when we were in good business economic situation from a long term. So today, instead of doing overall total value when we look at the financials of projects, we're looking at, and IT is looking at, what are the cost savings for me today. If we think of relational activities, we don't necessarily look at the value-added suppliers. We actually look at take order vendors and look at much more vendors who can help us with the immediate need. When we look at architectural decisions, in the past we started looking for building for the future. Many architectural groups, and I speak to quite a few enterprise architects, are saying we need to run what's existing today because we do want to make sure that we add value immediately. And then if we look at the contractual discussions and activities from a sourcing and vendor management, in the long term, there was a lot of outcome-based visibility. Today, there is a lot of cost plus transparency. So the recession actually has pushed many companies' emphasis to look more with and towards a short-term agenda. Now, I believe Emily has a poll to find out where you are in terms of these trade-offs.
Absolutely. I'll launch that poll now. If you can select and vote. All right, great. We're definitely seeing the results skewing towards yes. So what Eveline has indicated certainly is the case for the majority of the organizations here today.
Excellent. Great. Thank you, Emily. So thanks for verifying that to us here because I think that data is, of course, additionally confirming this. Now, in terms of what we're seeing in the future, I do believe that we will see a variety of those items as well with regards to what's happening. There will be short-term going on because I do believe that the recession has made us smarter. So let's look at the next slide. It describes the fears of IT. So when we asked our clients, and this was a relatively small sample size of 47 enterprise IT decision makers, we asked them, how would you rate your level of concerns about the following possibilities? And you can see here 66% said that they are fearful of the inability in supporting the growth of the business. And also, I think the other one is the meeting of the financial plan here at 47% is a key fear with regards to what IT is faced. So let's kind of step back. We know the recession has caused us some challenges. We understand that within IT and with the business that we know we have to add value. We have to shift our ability to actually help the growth, but at the same time become more efficient. A bit of an oxymoron, but I do believe, again, that situation has caused us to start thinking about a new business model. Now, if we look at this slide, I liked the picture because it is a bit of an optimistic, even though it's a bit foggy. I titled it, "The Economic Tide is Hesitantly Turning." Let me explain what I mean by that by going to slide 11 with titled Goals and Initiatives. So when we looked at the enterprises and asked the question, how important is each of the following business goals to your internal IT organizations when making software decisions? We saw that a large amount of the majority here, 89%, said when they make decisions on software, they want to make sure that they have a significant cost reduction. And at the same time, they also wanted to improve the execution speed of whatever they're applying. Two major reasons why we believe SaaS has been growing tremendously. Now, the next slide goes back to the point I already indicated, the moose and the IT spending by verticals. As I said, maintaining and operating the IT organization systems and equipment is what moose stands for. This here shows you the moose of the verticals organizations which we have inside Forrester and we track, and you can see the moose spending per employee, which is the light green, and the dark green is the IT spending per employee. So a significant amount of budgets are going to the ongoing operational environment, and very little is actually put in place to make sure that we become and retain customers, that we grow our revenue. And that's the point I made earlier with regards to the shift. Now, what are clients doing? In 2009, if we look at the next slide, we see a shift in terms of what clients are doing. And here I highlighted three particular items or steps clients are taking with regards to. So first, an outsourcing of application management and application hosting. So a tremendous increase here we have seen with regards to that topic. An additional increase on infrastructure outsourcing and the increased use of contractors and consultants who are coming in with regards to helping us run the business and offload some of the spend from internal to external in terms of consultants. And this is for North America. As I know, we have European folks here, and of course, as I'm from Germany, you might have detected on my slide accent here. I want to also share with you the data with regards to EMEA, and very similar, the picture not much different between the United States or North America and EMEA. Now, I did hint already on the moose, and this next slide titled, IT should consider alternative business models to reduce the moose, I think is very valuable, and this is what I want to talk through. Now, my colleague Andrew Bartles actually gets the credit for moose work. He has done some tremendous work in that topic, and there's many research articles available on Forrester's website. Part of this moose and reducing the moose is what we see here on the slide titled cloud computing. Now, we inside Forrester have defined cloud computing in a variety of topics in a variety of areas, and we'll get to that a little bit later. But if we look at software as a service, and we look at the implementing, expanding and upgrading and planning in the next 12 months, there's a significant share already with regards to what clients are doing. So it's almost about 50% if we could also include implement in 1 year or more. They're still not interested, 14%, and don't know, 8%. Not interested many times has to do with the organization's compliance and some of the other challenges they're seeing with SaaS, and we'll talk about those as well. The don't know probably are an investigation and might be here today, and hopefully we could help you with our decision model to step forward. Now, when we look at the adoption by